Here are all of the books that I read this year. Try not to drop all of them. Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Today I am showing you guys every single book that I read in 2024. I'm so excited for this video because this is my first time ever doing a book recap, because this is my first year of reading. I mean, obviously I've read before in my life, but like as a reader, this is my first year of being a reader, and so this is so exciting for me to finally be able to do this video, because I started watching these videos early this year and I've been so excited to do the end of the year book recap. So here we are. It's so exciting. So let's just get straight into it. I have my Fable up on my phone right now, and I will show you guys which books that I have read this year. And on my Fable, I'm gonna read you guys what I rated them, because I don't remember all of the books that, or like what I rated all of the books that I've read this year. I think there's only one that I don't own a copy of, but I will still show you guys. I'll put it up on screen of the book that I don't have a copy of. So let's just get started. The first book that I read this year was With Love from London by Sarah Geo. I loved this book so much. This was the book that, well, okay, so last year I read the Summer I Turned Pretty series for the first time ever, and that's really what got me into reading. So thank you, Jenny Han, for getting me into reading. Oh my gosh. But this is the book that kind of set off my reading journey this year. So this book has a special place in my heart. But besides just that, this book was so amazing in so many different ways. It was so emotional. It was just, I don't even know how to describe it. You can't even describe this book, or just Sarah's writing. It's just one of a kind. It's unique. It's beautiful. This book is so well written. I loved it so much. And let me tell you guys, I am not a crier whatsoever, but I cried at this book. So if you're a crier, most definitely have a box of tissues nearby. And if you're not a crier, I'd still grab a few tissues, because this book will get you. But I loved this book so much. I rated it. Okay, the thing is, I think maybe a lot of book readers do this. I don't know. If you're a reader, tell me if you do this or not. I originally had rated this book a 5, but a few months later, because I read this in January, and a few months later, I went back and rated it a 4, just because some of it had kind of gone out of my memory of what exactly happened in this book. And I kind of thought, well, if I don't remember everything that happened in a book, did it grab me that much? I don't really know how to explain it, because there are some books that I can recite the whole entire book, which would mean like it's a 5-star for me, but I can't remember every single thing that happened in this book. I remember a lot, but I don't even remember like all of the characters' names. I just remember Edward. I love Edward so much, but besides that, I don't really remember. So that's why I went back and rated it a 4-star, but it's still so amazing, and I would I highly recommend this book. It's so beautiful, so great. I love it. All right, I'm gonna start stacking it up on my bed. Then the next book that I read in February, I believe, is 5 Feet Apart. I had never seen the movie. I've had this book for like 6 years or so, because I won it in a giveaway, and I had just never read it. And then a few months back, or no, last December, I tried reading it, and I was like, this is so confusing. I don't understand it, because it seemed like a third person's POV. So I was super confused. So I decided to go ahead and watch the movie first, so I could have a better understanding of this book. And once I watched the movie, which the movie is just incredible. Once I watched the movie and then started reading the book, I immediately just grasped onto it, and there was no turning back. I love this book so much. 5 stars all the way. I want everyone in the world to read this book. It's so incredible. This is one of the books that I can still recite. I love it so much. This was the first book that I tabbed. I have so many. I have like small ones, big tabs for different parts of what I liked the best. Oh my goodness, this book is just so good. If you're not familiar with this story, they both have CF, cystic fibrosis, and obviously can't go near each other, because people with CF can't be near each other, and if they are, they have to be several feet apart. So it's about that, and then obviously there's romance. They start to fall in love with each other. I'm not gonna say too much, just because I want everyone that's listening right now to read this because it's so great and I don't want to spoil anything, but you guys, the movie's so good, the book is so good, but I am going to say I love the book's ending so much more than the movie, because the movie ending, I don't cry at movies, but I almost cried at the ending of 5 Feet Apart. I like this ending so much more, so that's all I'm gonna say. I rated this, like I said, a 5-star, and yeah, I did read it in February. I think it only took me like 2 weeks to read, a week and a half. I read this one fairly fast. So good. It's such an easy read. The font is really nice. There's some pictures in the middle from the movie. So good. Highly recommend. Okay, you guys, then the third book I read this year, My Life with the Walter Boys. Oh my gosh. Words can't even describe how much I love this book. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I watched the show. I really enjoyed the show. So then I was like, I'm gonna get the book. And then I read the book and I was like, oh, my obsession with this book is unreal. I am obsessed with this book. I tabbed I have 100 tabs in this one. Team Cole. I love Cole so much, and he is so wow in this book. There's so much more Cole in this book than there is in the show, which I obviously like because I'm like, hello. Yes, please feed us more Cole. We need it. We want it. And this book, definitely, if you're a Cole girly and you have not read the book yet, girl, what are you doing? Read the book. It is so good. Oh my gosh. There are so many Alex parts with Alex in the show that are actually Cole parts in the book, which surprised me. And I was like, why did you give that scene to Alex? The book is so good. I love it. I love it. There's one part in the book that Cole is like, not necessarily raunchy, but he gets a little spicy, and I was like, I love it. Oh my gosh, I love Cole. I love this book so much. 5-star all the way, forever and always. I read this book February 23rd through March 2nd. I think I finished it early March 2nd and read it later on the 23rd, so this book I read really fast. If I were to reread some books, this would definitely be one of them. So good. It is about, her name is Jackie, and she moves in because her whole family passed away, and she moves in with the Walters. The mom is one of her mom's best friends from, I think, like forever, but yeah, even the cover is 1 girl, 11 boys, 1 roof. So you can imagine how that can go with a girl and a lot of hormones in the house. It's so good. I love it. And it is YA. It's not raunchy or anything, so you're definitely safe if you read the book. All right, they're already falling back there. Also, every single book pretty much is YA. There are a few that have some certain scenes in them that I will let you guys know about, but so far these are, well, actually, With Love from London does have kind of a fade to black scene, but there is one part that is detailed a little bit, but it's not like graphic or nasty, so I think you're safe with reading it if you do enjoy the YA, because I obviously don't like my books raunchy or spicy, and Sarah Gio does a good job at not doing that. Yeah, you get the point, and there is a little bit, just a teeny tiny little bit of detail, but nothing crazy, so you're good. 5 Feet Apart, just fine, and My Life with the Walter Boys, just fine. Then the next book that I read was Blackberry Winter, also by Sarah Gio. This book was so good. This book gave me, like, I had so many emotions during this book. It made me so angry, it made me so sad. I don't even know. I don't think like really any of the book was happy. It was just sad, emotional. Holy guacamole. I would recommend this book. I don't know if you get irritated or mad easily. Maybe don't. I get pretty mad easily, irritated, but I still enjoyed the book. This is one of the books that, like, I don't know if enjoy is the right word, because it's about a mother that her son went missing. She was working and he was home alone, which irritated me because he was like 3 years old, and I'm like, why are you leaving your 3-year-old home alone? Let's just start there. There was just a lot of things in this book, but still, I really just enjoyed reading it. Again, I don't think enjoy is the right word for this book, but I don't know what else to say. It's just very emotional. This one, I think it can maybe give you a little water in your eyes. I didn't cry with this book, but I think it can make a lot of people cry. I don't know how to explain it without actually like giving details, but there is some sexual assault that happens in this book, as well as very minor little details of adult actions, but nothing graphic. Again, I think all of Sarah Geo's books, she gives just a little bit of an adult scene or two, but nothing that's crazy. But there is sexual assault in this, so just to warn everyone, because online it doesn't give any warnings, trigger warnings. It made me pretty uncomfortable just because I don't like reading that stuff, so just warning you guys. I rated this a 4-star. Looking back at it, I think I might give it like a 3.5, just because a lot of it just irritates me more now, like looking back on it. But isn't this cover so beautiful? It's so nice. I had actually rented it from the library and it was a totally different cover, and then I got this cover for Christmas and I was like, ooh, it's so gorgeous. Now the next book, you guys already know. If you're a reader, you already know which book this is. Better Than the Movies. Oh my goodness gracious. I love this book so much. It's one of my favorite reads of this year. 5-star, 100%. I love Wes Bennett so much. Wes is one of my book boyfriends. He's just perfect. I love their whole first kiss scene in the car. I love that scene. I ate it up. I like Liz a lot, but just like Wes, I just love Wes. I love him. If you are, well, not even if you're like a movie watcher, because I'm not even like a movie watcher, and there are a lot of movie quotes and references in this book that like I didn't get. Each chapter starts off with a book quote. So this one is from 500 Days of Summer. I've never heard of it. I don't think I really watched any of the movies that she quoted in here. Okay, 10 Things I Hate About You I've seen. I think maybe she did The Notebook, I think. And I've seen that, but for the most part, I haven't seen any of the movies that she talks about in this book. It's still just, oh my gosh, it's such a good book. One of my favorites. I love it, I love it. It's enemies to lovers trope. They've known each other their whole entire lives, so like childhood enemies to grown teenagers trope. It's so good. The boy next door, girl next door, they live next to each other. They've been neighbors their whole entire lives. Basically, I think. Such a great book. Just Wes. I just love Wes. I can't say that enough. He's just perfect. And like I said, I rated Better Than the Movies a 5-star. And I read Better Than the Movies in 4 days. I gobbled the book up. Now we are to, this is one of the books that I read in April. I think in April I read so many books, like 5 books maybe in April. Next was To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Jenny is the author of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and you guys know, if you have followed me for a while, you know my obsession with The Summer I Turned Pretty and Conrad. Just, I love it, I love it. What was that sound? But this book I just did not like. I could not get into it for a while. I think I finally was able to be like, okay, it's better, like 120 some pages in. Not my favorite book that I read this year. I gave it a 3-star. I probably would go back and like change it to like a 2. I just didn't love it. The movies are so much better. I love the first movie. I actually just rewatched the first movie over with my best friend the other day, and I don't know if I love the movie as much as I used to. I still enjoyed it, but the book just, no. I did not enjoy the book. To be honest, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, and then after To All the Boys, I read Always by Sarah Geo, and I rated this book a 3-star. I remember quite a bit of it, not all of it. I think I would go back and change it to a 2-star just because this is the one Sarah book that I just didn't love. I read 3 of her books this year and I just didn't love this one. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, nor would I tell you to not read it. If it's on your TBR, for sure read it. If it's not, don't add it. Is that mean? Is that mean to say? I'm sorry if it is, but just wasn't my favorite book. Like I said, 3-star, but I would go back and change it to a 2-star because it's just not the best. The girl in the book, I can't even remember her name. I want to say Claire, but that might be another girl character in one of her other books. We'll say Claire. Claire is married to her husband. I don't remember his name, Ted. I don't know. And then she sees a homeless man on the corner as her and her husband are walking out of the restaurant, and she goes up to him to give her leftover food. And then he looks up and she sees his face, and all of the memories come back. And it was her ex that she was absolutely in love with, and he didn't like recognize her, he didn't acknowledge her, and she was standing there panicking, and there was just nothing there for him. He wasn't like, oh my gosh, hi. And so she's wondering like what happened to him, and it just goes from there. So like it is good, but I don't know, there was just something about it that I just didn't love. So yeah, 2.5 star in between there, 2.25 to be exact. Maybe read it if you want, because it's not the worst book ever. I don't know what it was about the book that I just didn't love, but there was something. I don't know if there was like off feelings with it or what. If you've read it, let me know and what you thought about it, because since I kind of have mixed feelings on it, I want to hear other people's opinions about it. All right, after Always, I read P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny. This is the second book in the To All the Boys series. I did not like this book whatsoever either. Not good. I wouldn't recommend. Just no. I didn't love it. I gave this one a 3 star. I would go back and change it to like a 1.5, 2. Maybe a 2 just to be nice, but I didn't love it. I was so bummed that the books just weren't doing it for me like the movies do. More so the first movie, like I said, but no thank you. Wouldn't recommend. I can't remember. No, I think it's in the next one. So let's go to the next one, because the next book I read was the third one and the last one. Always and Forever, Lara Jean. This book is the only one that has a little bit of spice, if you will. It's not even anything crazy. She tries to, you know, do stuff with Peter, and they start to, but then he backs out because he doesn't want to. So it's almost a lead up, but then a stop. So it's nothing crazy. It's a little detailed with stuff, but nothing insane. This book, this one was the worst one out of all 3. I despised this one. I rated it a 2.5, but I honestly would go back and rate it like a 0.5 star, because I did not enjoy this book whatsoever, and it just really irritated me, a lot of it. Lara Jean, I want to punch her in the face, to be honest, in the books, and especially this one. Maybe the second one too. There were several parts that it genuinely was irritating me really bad, and I was even getting irritated and angry just in my daily life from the books. So that's when I was like, ooh, let me hurry up and finish this so I can stop being angry just in life because of the book making me angry. I wouldn't recommend these books. They just weren't good. I did not like them at all. Next book is Picking Daisies on Sundays. This is one of my favorite covers ever. It's so simplistic, but it's so gorgeous. I loved this book so much. It's one of my favorite books of this year. This book was just amazing. Oh my gosh. I loved this so much. I rated it a 5 star, of course. Oh my gosh. And the pages are so nice. And look how I don't know if you can even tell, but they are so white. This whole book was just incredible. I loved it. And she has another book that just came out that I got a few weeks ago, and I can't wait to read it. I hope I love it just as much as this, because her writing style I love so much. I would 100% recommend Picking Daisies. Such an amazing book. Oh, I love this book so much. I'll kind of read the synopsis on this one for you guys, because it's so good. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, because it says her name is Daniela, but then I was thinking it was, yeah, I think she goes by Daisy in this though. Okay, so Daisy wanted love. It's all she ever hoped for. What she hadn't hoped for was to find it in her childhood best friend Levi. It was the hand-trembling, heart-thumping kind of love that wasn't supposed to happen when you saw your best friend. But it all ended when he didn't feel the same way, and she vowed to never see him again. 4 years later, and one night in a crowded bar in the West Village, there he was, just as perfect as ever. Maybe it was the lighting or the way his hair curled above his brow, but she couldn't say no when he asked her to be his fake girlfriend for his sister's wedding. I'll just kind of stop there, because the childhood best friend, she likes him but he says no, and then they find each other again, or they come across each other years later, and then the fake girlfriend. I just love the fake dating trope. It's so good, I think, except for To All the Boys. But this one was so good. The fake dating and the tension and everything was just perfect. I loved it. There's only one tiny part that I can think of where nothing happened. I think they both kind of thought at the same time, like a dirty thought in their head with something, but nothing happened or anything. It was just a thought that they both had that was dirty, but that was it. This book is just fine, super clean. Highly recommend if you have not read this. Like, the aesthetic alone should be enough for you to get it, but really the whole entire book was just mwah, perfect. Now next is The Notebook. If you haven't seen the movie, then where have you been? Because I feel like this is just one of the movies that everyone has seen. I just actually watched it for the first time like a little over 3 years ago, so I was kind of late to the game. The movie is just like perfect. I love it so much. The book, however, not as perfect. I didn't like this book whatsoever. I actually rated it a 3-star, but I would go back and rate it like a 1.5 because it just was not good. And I'm not the type of person that, like, I don't need a book and movie to be exact, but like it is fun when you can read a book and be like, oh, this is in the movie or this part, and connect it with the scene in the movie. There was none of that in here. Like, none of this book was the same as the movie, like, whatsoever, and I just didn't like it. This had several scenes in it. I want to say 3. One super detailed scene that lasted like 3 pages that I was like, okay, you guys can stop now. And for the most part, they just kept licking each other. And I was like, what is happening? What am I reading? And so I was like, okay, when is this gonna end? Because I don't want to read this. This is crazy. And then one that had just said that they like woke up and then I feel like there was one other, but I can't remember. So one, like, got it, thank you, moving on. The second one that was like, okay, and then I just can't remember if there was a third or not. I just didn't like this book whatsoever. But the ending, I feel like, was kind of an open ending that it almost gives you, because obviously at the end of The Notebook movie, we get what happens. Like, I mean, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie, they obviously pass away at the end of the movie, but in this, they don't really say anything. So I'm like, do they not pass away in the book? I don't know. It was really confusing, the ending. It just kind of was like, oh, you make the ending in your mind. And I just didn't really love that either, but just the movie's so much better. I wouldn't recommend the book because I just didn't think it was enjoyable to read. I read this in a day as well. It was such an easy read, but it's not a super long book. And really, the end, let me show you guys. All of this is just Nicholas Sparks talking and answering questions. So this is only the book. It was so short, 206 pages, so super easy read. If you like the movie and you want to give the book a try, go ahead. I just wouldn't suggest it. Now here is where it really goes downhill. The next book I had read was Love from Scratch. I hated this book so bad. This book was so bad and it got me in such a bad reading slump. I read this book May 20th through June 3rd. I didn't read another book until August 11th, and then I didn't get to finish that book until September 7th. So this put me in such a bad slump, and once I got to my next book, it was so hard to try to get back into reading. So no, absolutely not. I would never recommend this to anybody. Just no. The cover is really cute, but the book, no. One of my friends on Instagram loves this book. She really liked it and was surprised that I didn't, but I'm surprised that she did because I just didn't like it. I don't even really remember all of the book. I think her name is Reese. His name is, I don't know, he looks like a Justin or something. That's not his name. Benny, that's right. Yeah, no. He just like was in love and obsessed with her right away, and I also just didn't like that. I'm like, calm down, chill out. It's like a food romance as well. They both are food lovers. They're always in the kitchen at work. They think they're funny with like food references. I don't remember. There was one part where he kept making food dad jokes, and I was like, oh, cringe, cringy, bad. I just did not like this book. I'm sorry, but no, don't get it, don't read it. Now, after I kind of got out of my book slump, I went ahead and tried to read Throw Like a Girl which it was hard to get out of my book slump because of Love from Scratch, but it didn't help that this is the book that I chose to read because I despised this book as well. I didn't like it at all. It was not good. It's a sports romance. It was my first sports romance ever, and this book made me want this book to be the last sports romance I ever will read. I'm like, ooh, if this is what sports romances are like, no thank you. I do actually have I have more sport romances that I hope are better than this. I rated this a 2-star. I'd go back and change it to like a 1/2 star. It was so bad. Again, he was obsessed with her from the beginning, and I just don't like that. I just don't like that. I don't like when the guy is like immediately obsessed with the girl. It just kind of cringes me out. I don't know. I just don't like it. No, thank you. I can't even remember everything. Oh, I remember now. She got in trouble with something and then had to leave her softball team and switch schools because she was at like a paid for really good private school, but then she had to leave it because she got in trouble and then go to a different school which he was at, and then he saw her like right away and then wanted her to join his team because they were missing a player, so just kind of went into that, and then he's just like obsessed immediately, and I'm like, go away. Gray. I think his name's Gray. Yeah, no thank you. Would not recommend, absolutely not. Like a 1/2 star, like a 0.01. I hated the book. I hated the book so bad. So earlier this year, I started off so good with all of my reads. There were like just 5 stars, several in a row. Then just this whole part just was like going downhill with the books, and I'm like, excuse me, this book I hated so bad. I wish you would. It's such a cute cover, but oh, I hated this book. I gave it a 1 star. I would go lower. Like, I would just give this a 0 because I just did not like it. I read this book really quickly, I think. Yeah, I read this book in like 3 days. Oh, you guys, it was so bad. The cover's so deceiving because I saw the cover and I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. I had read the synopsis and I'm like, oh, sounds cool. No. There is one scene, adult scene, I think, in this book. It didn't go into detail. I can't even remember how it went. Maybe a little bit, and then you kind of get the idea, but nothing like graphic. I don't even remember a lot of it. This whole entire book took place in one day. I also didn't like that it was like 7 a.m., 7:02 a.m., 7:07 a.m. and it was kind of stressing me out. So no, 0, 0, 0, would not recommend this book. Please don't read it. And if you have, tell me what you think of the book, because if you love it, great. I'm glad, but just for me, no. And then the day that I finished that book, I started reading this book. Thank goodness I got back onto the good book. I don't even know. I finally got a good book because I loved it. I'm talking so fast now, I can't even talk. I loved this book so much. The Summer I Fell for My Best Friend by Sarah Jane Woodley. Such a cute book. It was so cute. Just such a fun, cute, innocent little read. A YA book, so cute. It says, I plan to spend the summer before my senior year suntanning on the beaches of Portugal. Unfortunately, my parents have other ideas. They've sent me to work at the family hotel instead of lying on white sand beaches. I'll be trapped in the mountains. It's the worst punishment I can think of, or at least it seems that way until I see him. Noah Sawyer, tall, gorgeous, and mysterious. He's Edendale, whichever, High's resident heartthrob, and he's also my former best friend. We haven't talked after what happened 3 years ago, but fate has brought us together again. It might be the last summer we ever spend together. 3 years ago, I wanted to kiss him, but couldn't. This summer will be my last chance. It's so cute. This was like the biggest slow burn ever, but it was worth it because I loved this book so much. It was so adorable. I gave it a 4 star. I really enjoyed this book and I would recommend it. I would love to read more of her books as well because I liked her writing style. But like the slow burn, I just kept wanting to read it because I'm like, oh, when's a little smoochy smooch gonna happen, please? Can I get a smoochy smooch? Super cute, I would recommend. Now next, a book that I had been waiting for months is Nothing Like the Movies. I was so excited for this book, and when it came out, I actually got it a few days before the release date, which was really cool, or maybe the day before. I didn't love this book. I really love Better Than the Movie so much more. This book was like, I mean, it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. I gave it a 3.5. I think that's fair. I don't know. I think it was just kind of dragged out for me and too much of a slow burn. This book was huge also. Let me see. It was 435 pages or something like that. It was a big book. I would recommend this, and especially if you do read Better Than the Movies, you have to read this. I just didn't love it. I think it was too much of a slow burn. I wanted them to just, I can't really say anything because I don't want to spoil it for people. Just wasn't the best. I was kind of disappointed with it a little bit, but it's still all right. I would definitely reread Better Than the Movies. I wouldn't necessarily, like, this wouldn't be my top choice to go and reread this. It was all right. It was all right. The cover is so cute though. I was debating on getting the orange cover, like the Barnes exclusive one, but since I just didn't love this one, I'm like, I don't want to pay an extra $20 some for a book that I just didn't love. So tell me what you guys thought about this one, because I just didn't love it, like I keep saying. All right, now the last and final book is It Was Always You by Judy Corey. I loved this book so much. It's a brother's best friend book. It was my first brother's best friend book, and I like it. I like it a lot. This is actually a series. I think this is the 4th book in the series, but you don't have to read the series in a row to understand it. But I enjoyed this book so much that I do want to get her other ones and the rest in the series now, because I just want to see the whole entire series, or read the whole entire series. Oh my gosh, this book was so good. 16-year-old Lexi has never been kissed, never been asked on a date. So when she humiliates herself in front of her crush and her brother's best friend offers to be her fake boyfriend for the week to make her crush jealous, she doesn't know if it's the stupidest idea ever or a dream come true. When Noah's abusive stepdad kicks him out of the house, the last thing he needs is for anyone at school to find out, not even his best friend. But when his new girlfriend discovers he's homeless and lets him sleep in her closet, he starts to wonder if he's found someone he can confide in after all. And I won't read the rest. That's pretty much the book. She's just like this nerdy girl. He's only ever seen her as just this nerdy little girl that's his brother's sister, but then they fake date to make her crush jealous, and her crush is also in band like her, and he's like a football player. Everyone loves him and is obsessed with him. And then his mom is annoying as heck. She really irritated me. His dad is annoying as heck. I hated him. And his parents are separated, so he has nowhere to go. So then he had been sleeping in his car, and she found out and lets him sleep in her bedroom, in her closet, without anybody knowing. It's really good. I love it. Definitely would recommend. A 5-star. I believe I rated this a 5-star. I sure did. 5-star. Ooh, I loved it so much. 100% recommend. All right, besties, now the books that I didn't finish this year. I started reading Betting on You 2 different times. I put it down. I was like, this book is just not it. I don't like it. I had gotten like 120 some pages in, and I was like, yeah, no. Well, I had gotten like 60 some pages in and then stopped, then started reading it weeks later, got 120 some pages in and then stopped again, DNF'd it. I started to read it again yesterday, and I kind of been liking it now. So hopefully I enjoy the rest. Oh yeah, I forgot about some of these. Okay, I know I started reading The Bodyguard earlier this year, I think. Maybe I only like read a page because then I got into a different book. I definitely do want to read the rest of The Bodyguard. It is one of my books somewhere over here. But some of the books that I DNF'd were If He Had Been With Me, which is right here. And for Christmas, I got the second one. It wasn't that I didn't like it. I think I started reading like 2 or 3 books and just never picked this one back up. But I'm really excited to read it and the second one. So definitely will read that soon. And then the second one was The 7-Year Slip. I had thankfully rented that from the library. I did not like it. I know everyone is so obsessed with the book. I don't know. I just could not get into it, so I DNF'd that, did not finish. Then the other one, oh my gosh, My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine, I think. I hated the book so bad. I got like 80, 90 pages in, and I just could not finish it. Plus, it was getting really raunchy. Well, it wasn't like really raunchy. it was raunchy, and I knew that it was only going to get raunchier. So I was like, yeah, let me stop now before I scare myself. And then the other one is Jane in Love. The cover is so beautiful. Can you click it? No, I don't know if you guys can really see that. The cover is so gorgeous, but it was just too old English for me because it's all about Jane Austen, and it was just not for me. I don't think the classics are really for me. I have several right here that I had gotten from my mom that I just like to display on my bookshelf, but just not for me. Not for me. But one of my friends on my Bookstagram saw me reading it, and she's older than me. I think she's like in her 40s and a mom. So she started reading it and loved it. So I don't know, maybe it was just a me thing, maybe it's a different ages thing that she loved it, and I just was like, yeah, no thank you. I got like 30 pages into it and I just couldn't finish it. So I think those are all of the books that I didn't finish this year, so not too many. Didn't do too bad. So yeah, I'm so excited. I am so excited to do my first ever book recap. These are all the books that I read in 2024. So amazing. It was so much fun to do this video. I'm so excited. Let me know which books of these, all of these that I showed, which ones you have read and which ones you enjoyed or did not enjoy and what you rated them, all of the good things. And I will see and talk to you guys in the next video. If you want to follow me on all of my social medias, they will be down in the description as always. I'll include my Bookstagram down in the description as well, so you guys can follow me there. I need to start posting on my Bookstagram more. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see and talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!